Good, everyone. It's Matt Rard here. And today I'm interviewing a past graduate of ours, Mike Wooten from New Zealand. Mike's a really interesting story because he was in a very successful senior corporate management role. And what I want to talk to him about today is his journey of how he retrained with us and how now he works fully online with his own digital agency and he's helping local Kiwi businesses. And during the lockdown period, it's really interesting. Mike started up another online business called Business in Boardies. So, Mike, welcome and thank you for being on today's interview.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Cool. So, basically, where did all this start? What were you doing originally, and how did all this start?
Sure. So I was working for one of the banks in New Zealand as a sponsorship manager. So I was actually recognised, I actually took out the award for top sponsorship professional in New Zealand. And for me, it was about 3 or 4 years prior to that, I had been made redundant from a job, and I didn't like the idea of not having my own future within my own hands. I didn't like the lack of security or my future being in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
And so at that stage, I just started looking around for something that I could do for myself. And I always wanted to be online. I always wanted to sort of start working online for myself more. And then that's when my brother-in-law come across your course and sent me a link to it. And I was like, it took me about 2 years to find it, of looking. And then I found it through my brother-in-law. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, this is me, let's sign up. So
Go Roger, mate.
yeah.
And because your role was pretty full on. I remember when I used to coach you, you were doing big hours, weren't you? But like very successful, like you said, you're the leader in New Zealand in that space. But it was big hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a high pressure situation. I was managing an $8 million sponsorship budget there, and had a team of people that I was working with, managing multiple agencies. So it was a lot to take on that year, managing that job, plus flying to Australia every 3 months.
Yeah, come and see
doing
us.
Doing weekly coursework and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I was spending my holidays and weekends and stuff still working. And then at the same time, once I started your course, I actually started a digital agency at the same time after I was on the course.
Yeah, and really well done. So you just went for it because you knew you obviously wanted to make a big change in your life. And I remember coaching you through that period, and it is always a challenging time-wise. But these days, so for you now, what drew you to the digital agency side?
I guess I had insights from working corporate where I would see, because I was getting inside knowledge from you and Liz, and I was seeing how to do a bunch of things online. And then when agencies were pitching me kind of basic web tasks or web builds, etc., maybe we're running a promotion and they're going to set up a quick one-page website and then they're charging $20,000. I was going, this is insane.
Yeah, you want money.
And then I kind of thought, well, if that's what's happening in agency land, then there's a real opportunity for me to be able to come in and offer good, honest pricing and look after people that don't have those big budgets. Because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest.
Yeah, and you've been incredibly successful with it. And you're obviously a very driven person. So these days, let's look at two things now. Actually, the first one, in terms of what you offer for businesses and what, I guess, the niche that you found helping Kiwi businesses, where do you specialize? What sort of services do you do for businesses?
Yeah, so we've pivoted a couple of times since we began, but now what we focus on is automated marketing. So that is, driving leads and clients online towards businesses. We focus mainly around service-based businesses, any business that sort of sells information products or online courses as well. Those are kind of our three areas that we look after. Mm-hmm. And we'll set up everything. So we call it like marketing and sales funnels. We'll set up everything from online advertising through to what the offer is, through to after someone's taken up a small tier offer, how to nurture them and get them on board for bigger ticket items.
Okay. Yep. And so for you now, I know one of the reasons why you started this journey, as you said, to quit your job, the corporate lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I was
How is
so
that
nervous when I did that.
lifestyle? What was that? Sorry.
I said I was so nervous when I did it that day as well. I can still remember it. Yeah.
I can too, because you're on obviously a very high wage and everything like that. So now looking back, because giving some advice, we've got lots of people listening to this interview and they're going to be in exactly the same boat as you, Mike. When you look back at it now, so sure, you're on a obviously big corporate role, big corporate wage, all that sort of stuff. And like you just said, really interesting. You were really nervous on the day that you did it. Now, a few years have passed. When you look back over it, any regrets?
No, I've never had a regret since I handed in my notice. So,
Awesome.
because for me, like you're saying, like I've got a goal in mind.
Yeah.
My full-time job doesn't line up with that goal. So, my value towards achieving my goals far outweighs the kind of comfortableness of having a job. So,
Yeah, cool. And
yeah.
so day-to-day life now for you, do you have obviously when you start up a business, there's a fair bit of work to do as well, and you're used to working long hours, but now that you've settled into things, is it a much better lifestyle for you working from home online?
Yeah, like I enjoy the freedom a lot more because I'm a real explorer. So to be honest, so I kind of, to manage my risks starting out, I actually professional house sit for the last 2 years prior to this.
All right. Yep.
And so I basically got rid of any rent payments, anything like that, any power, any bills. I wasn't paying any of them. And I was living in mansion. I was living in mansions while people would go overseas for 3-4 months to their holiday homes.
Yeah.
And so that was, and I couldn't do that in a full-time job. So running the agency and stuff, having that lifestyle was phenomenal. And then now it's, there's still a lot of hard grind. I think the thing that people have to get used to is that when you're starting something from scratch, it's a lot of input and a lot of output. And then eventually, like your success curve, once you start getting past those initial humps, then it starts becoming a lot easier and you become a lot more confident and, things make sense a lot quicker. And so, but I really enjoy the freedom. I really enjoy meeting people and talking to new people all the time. And I enjoy being my own boss.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've obviously found true freedom. That sounds awesome to be able to that you've got no ties to anything. And I know obviously you live in beautiful New Zealand, one of the most stunning countries on the planet there. And so you're a very outdoors person and you're right into your fitness and stuff. So you've got a lot more time now to do those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, well, it's like one of those things. It's like the hard thing with, I think, having so much freedom, and I think I've said this to you before, is that when I started your course, I started seeing opportunity everywhere, and that was one of the hardest things. Was that once I did your course, everything looks like opportunity because you're like, I could do this online, I can do that online, and so it's almost this catch-22. You've got all this freedom, but all you want to do is keep chasing your opportunities. So, it's like you say, I finally, it was actually about 3 weeks ago, I finally understood when you said that sometimes you have to force yourself to go outside to have some fun and do something. It's because you're just constantly grinding and wanting to do stuff and try new things. So,
mate, that is awesome to hear. And I do want to say a heartfelt big congratulations to yourself, because I think you've nailed it. You've done it really well. And I know you've got an awesome business there in New Zealand. You're doing some awesome work for your clients and helping them, especially during these times, find leads, which is really important. So Mike's a specialist in that space. If you want help with him, or if you're in New Zealand, reach out and contact him. It's mikewooten.co. I'll put a link in this interview for you. And also, Mike, you started a really cool sideline thing to help Kiwi businesses through this time, which is business in board shorts, which is some extra lessons to help Kiwi businesses, isn't it?
Yeah, so business and boardies, I put it together basically as soon as this pandemic hit, because I noticed that obviously there's going to be a ton of people that need to be going online to try and operate, or businesses that are going to be going out of business. We need to try and figure out how to make an income online. And I figured, given I've got all these skills that I've learned from you and Liz, and met a bunch of other people who are doing cool things in that space, that we could share some knowledge, insights, inspiration around how to set up new business models and teach people how to do this stuff in their time of need. So that's where business and boardies came from.
Awesome. So, Mate, really well done. Thanks so much for your time today, Mike. It is unreal to catch up with you again and hear your story and watch your journey from that full-on senior corporate role, incredibly successful there, to now being incredibly successful in your lifestyle design. I think it's a really good tip too that you said your house sit. I love that idea as well. I hadn't thought of that one in there. So, mate, thank you so much for sharing.
Cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.